This conference will now be recorded.
In the DAX functions, last class we discussed about which category of functions? Some functions we discussed last class. Once after the filter functions and relationship functions, we discussed about something called use relationship function. In the last class, we discussed about something called use relationship function. And once after the use relationship function, we discussed about something called what? Variables. And we discussed about what? Measures table. Today, next category of DAX functions we'll discuss. What is that next category of DAX functions we'll be discussing about is this functions, guys. There is a category of functions, some mathematical functions, aggregate functions, statistical functions, and table manipulation functions. Different categories of functions we'll discuss today. What are those is? First, we'll start with what? Mathematical functions, and then aggregation functions, and then we'll discuss about statistical function called rank x, and then finally we'll discuss about what? Table manipulation function. Let's start discussing about them. I'm opening Power BI Desktop. Open Power BI Desktop. Close the welcome screen. Let's load some tables to discuss those functions. Excel. I'll just load tables from sample superstore. So there are some functions, important functions are there where they'll ask you in the entry use case, like sum function, sum x function, and rank x function, top n function, summarize function. Today, there are some functions which we are going to discuss. They'll ask you in the interview. Let me even load some more tables from another Excel file, empdept Excel file, empdept Excel file. Press OK. Right. The first function we'll be discussing about is integer function. What is this integer function? What it will do? Let's try to understand. Right. Let me show you. I'll just go and create one visual here. I want to round the sales values here. There is a sales column. I want to round the sales values here to the next integer. So what this integer function will do is, let's see here. I'm selecting orders table. For every row, I need one value. Uh, Whenever I want to round up this number to the next integer. 77.88. I want to make it to 78. Even 73.2. I need to make it to 74. I want to round up the number to the next integer number. Next integer number. Whenever we need to round up the number to the next integer number, click on new column. For every row, you need one value. So I'm taking any name you can give to the column. I'm taking the column name as integer. Integer of what means sales. So I can just use the integer function. To the integer function, we can pass one number. When you pass a number, what it will do? Rounds a number. Sorry guys, it will rounds a number down to the what? Near integer, not next to the next integer. Round downs. So I said that it will go to the next, not next. It will round down the number to the nearest integer. So here, if you see the number is 77.88. I don't want this decimal places. I just want to round down the number to the nearest integer. Here just I want to show 5. Here just we want to show 73. So whenever we need to round down the number to the nearest integer, which function will do that? Integer. To the integer function, I'll pass the sales column. What integer function will do is, it will round down the number to the nearest integer. 77, 6, or here 73, round down the number. So there are some times I want to round the number, so not round down. Next one is round. Round means what I need to do is after decimal place when the number is greater than or equal to 5, I need to take it to the next number. After decimal place when the number is less than 5, I need to have the same number. I need to have the same number. In that case, you need to use which function here? Round function. What integer function is doing is it is always taking to the same number, round down to the nearest integer. But this time, not like that. After the decimal place when the number is greater than or equal to 5. So 8 after decimal place 8, 8 is greater than or equal to 5. I want to take this number to where? 78. After decimal place the number is less than 5. I need to take to what? Same number. If you want to get like that, you need to use a function called round function here. Click on new column. I want to round the sales. Round sales. You can use a function with the name called what here? Round function. To the round function, you can pass the number column. Which column you need to round the values? Sales values. And you need to round it to how many decimal places? Number of digits. You need to round it to 0 decimal places. So when I write 0 decimal places, what it will do is, so after immediate decimal place, what is the number we have? It will take whether that number is greater than or equal to 5. It will check. If it is greater than or equal to 5, it will take it to the next number. So now 77.88, you will get 78. After decimal place, what is the number you have? It will take. If it is less than 5, it will take only 73. 73. So you can even round it to one decimal place also. Now you are rounding it to 0 decimal places. This number is a whole number. Instead of whole number, you might need to have a decimal place here. If you want, you can even round it to one decimal place. When you round it to one decimal place, it will leave the first number. It will take which number now? Second number. Second number is greater than or equal to 5, it will check. When the second number is greater than or equal to 5, it will take this next number to next number. What you will get when you round it to one decimal place? 77.99. So it will leave the first number, it will take the second number. It will check second number is greater than or equal to 5. If second number is greater than or equal to 5, first number it will take to the next number. Right. Like this, you can even round it to one decimal place also here. 77.9, you will get it. So same way, there is one function called roundup, guys. Roundup function, what it will do is it will always take to the next number. It will always take to next number, whatever the number it is. There are sometimes our requirement will be whatever the number we have after decimal place, I want to take it to the next number. What is the next number here? 78. 73.2. What is the next number here? 73. I want to round up the number to the next integer number. How to round up the number to the next integer number is there is a function called what? Round up. I want to round up the sales. Round up the sales value. In order to round up the sales value, there is a function called round up. In the round up function, which column you need to round up? Sales column. To how many decimal places you need to round up? I need to round up to 0 decimal places. When I round up to 0 decimal places, so after 0 decimal places, what is the number we have? It doesn't bother about it. It will take it to the next number, 78, 73.2, 74, like this. Or else if you want to round up to one decimal place means, what might be the number you will get round up to one decimal place means? 77.9. One decimal place. Round up one decimal place. 0 decimal place means it will take to the next number. One decimal place means this number it will take to the next number. In the same way, there is one more function called round down function also. Round down function, it will round down it. So select the orders table. Let's click on round down the sales to 0 decimal places. Round down sales value. So I can just take the function called round down. Round down, same again, which number column you need to round down? Number of decimal places. Round down means it will just remove the numbers which is there after decimal place. It will show the number what we have now. Here it will show 22, here it will show 80, here it will show 63. Round down the number towards 0. Towards 0, this whatever you have after decimal place it will round down. So here I want to round down which column means sales column to how many decimal places means 0 decimal places. Then what is the difference between this integer function and round down function? Integer function also doing giving the same result here. Even round down function also giving the same result. Both are same or not? Numbers same. So integer function also we said that it round down the number to the nearest integer number. Round down function also round down the number to the nearest integer function. R- round down with 0 decimal places is equivalent to integer function. But in integer function, only one argument you can pass, a column which you need to round down. It will always round down to how many decimal places? 0 decimal places. But in the round down function, we can even pass 1 decimal place, you can round down 2 decimal places, we can round down. So whatever you can do with integer function, we can even do with what? Round down function. Round down, what you need to pass there? 0. Round down with 0, we call it as what function? Integer function. Don't bother much about these functions. If you want to round down the number to 0 decimal places, which function is best to use? Integer. If you want to round down the number to 1 or 2 decimal places, then round down function. Round function will check the number and it will take to the next number or to the current number. Round up function always take to where? Next number. Round down function always take to the where? Current number. Right? So next function is divide function, guys. Divide function will help us. So let's say I have a salary column and commission column. I need to do salary by commission. We need to do what? Salary divided by commission. So when you do salary divided by commission, salary is 2450, commission is blank. Whenever blank is there, DAX will do what? 0. So you will get infinity, right? Select this, click on new column. I want to do salary by commission, salary divided by commission. When I just go and use divide operator here, salary divided by commission, you'll get what in the output is infinities. Infinity is equivalent to error. I want to avoid these errors. What is the best way to avoid these errors is, we can use a function called divide function. You don't need to even go with if here. Divide function have that capability. In the divide function, you can pass numerator. Next what? Denominator and then alternative result. Here, numerator is which column? Salary column. Denominator is which column? Commission column. And what is the third argument you have? Alternative result. Alternative result is there in the square bracket. Square bracket means what? Optional. There are some optional arguments. When you don't pass anything, it will take default one value. Default, it will take what value there means? Blank. So I'm not going to pass this alternative result. It's an optional argument. By default, it will take what? Blank. So that means when the numerator divided by denominator is giving a number, you'll get that number in the output. When the numerator divided by denominator is giving an error, in the place of error, you will get alternative result. Alternative result, when you don't pass it, it's an optional argument, you'll get what? Blank. So what the divide function will do is safe divide function with the ability to handle what? Divide by zero cases. Especially when there is no denominator, zeros in the denominators, you can even use divide operator. When there is a zeros in the denominator, to avoid that infinity errors, we can use which function here? Divide. So when I just go and pass numerator and denominator, when I run this formula, you will not get infinity here. Instead of infinity, you are getting what? Blank. So instead of blank, if you want a zero or something there, what you can do here? Alternative result, by default, it will take what here? Blank. Instead of blank, you can even pass one number. Let's say I want to pass 0 there. When this calculation is returning a number, show that number. When the calculation is returning a error, in the place of error, you are asking to show what? 0. When I go and run this, you get 0. Rather than 0, null is the best one, guys. Blank is the best one. In order to pass the blank, you don't want to pass anything. So when you have a column with the blank, can I use that columns in the visual? You can use it. When you have infinity, might be you cannot use that columns. It will throw errors. If there is a blank value, you can use it. You can use it. Divide function, guys. So next one is power function. When you want one column to the power of another column, you can use the power function. Rarely we might use it. Let's take an example. I have a quantity column. To the quantity column, I want the 2 power 2 or something, or quantity power 2, I want it. I want to derive one column wherever quantity is here to the power of 2, I want it. Click on new column. Just a dummy calculation, yes. Quantity power of 2 you want, quantity 2 I am giving. So you can take the quantity, so you can use one function called power function. In the power function, what you can pass? Number and the power. You can pass 2 comma 2. When I pass 2 comma 2, 2 square you will get. When I pass 3 comma 3, 3 cube you will get. So you can even pass one column and one number. I'll just go and pass one column called quantity column, and I'll just pass one number called 2. It will take quantity and the power of 2. 2 power 2, 3 power 2, like this you'll get it. So to the power function, you can pass two arguments, one the column and the power of that column. Once after that, the next one is a function with the name called what? Sine function, guys. So let me quickly tell you how it will be helpful. Profit column is there. Totally how many orders we have? Triple line for orders. Triple line for orders. Few of the orders have positive profits. Few of the orders have negative profits. Few of the orders have what profits? Zero profits. Zero profits. I want to count them. How many orders have positive profits? How many orders have zero profits? How many orders have negative profits? We need to count it. To count it, you need to write a big measure, guys. How you need to write the measure is when the count of orders is sorry, when sum of profit is less than this, count it like that. Instead of that, there is a function called sine function. What the sine function will do is, for every row it will give one value. Select the orders table, click on new column. We are going to use one function called sine function here. Sine of profit I'm giving. What that sine function will do is, I'll just use sine and I'll pass a column called profit column. What column will pass here? Profit column. What this sine function will do is, it will return the sign of the number. If the profit value is the positive number, it will return 1. If the profit value is 0, it will return 0. If the profit value is negative number, it will return what? Minus 1. Sine function will return 3 numbers in the output. When the profit number is coming a positive number, if profit is getting 10, what it will return in the output? 1. If profit is getting a 0, what it will return in the output? 0. If profit is getting like minus 10, what it will return in the output? Minus 1. Minus 1. It will return 3 values, guys. When I go close the bracket and I go and enter, we'll get what here now? 1. You'll have only 3 values. Minus 1, 0, 1. When I go and select minus 1, all the profits you will have with what numbers? Negative numbers. When I go with 0, all the records will have profit with as what number? 0. When I go with 1, all the values will have profit with what number? Positive number. Positive number. Right. So positive number. Now, if you want to count them, what you can do is, you can take one visual and you can just go and drag the column called sine column, sine of profit column, and beside that you can write count. So by default it is doing aggregation. Click on what? Do not summarize. -1 0 1, and we need to count the orders. For that, you can just drag the order id column and you can change the order to what you need to do now? Count, or count district, or count whatever it is. Now how many? So not count district, guys, sorry. You need to go with what? Just count. Total how many orders you have? 994. So negative profits orders, how many you have? 187. Zero profit you have 65. Positive profits you have it. So instead of this -1 0 1, you can even show some description there. Using this column, sign of profit column, you can even get description. Wherever -1 is there, you want to write it as negative profits. Wherever 0 is there, you want to write it as zero profits. Wherever +1 is there, you need to write it as profit. I want to create one conditional column using this sign of profit column, and where I want to get some description. How to get it? Tell me. Select the orders table. Which function I need to use? Click on new column. What column I need to derive now? Description column. Description column. So which function I need to use? I want to check mood 3 conditions. So when I want to check 3 conditions, so switch function we can use it. Rather than nested if, you need to go with either nested if, or you can go with what? Switch. So here I need to write the equal to conditions. What is the, when you want to write the equal to conditions, you can directly pass what? Column name. When the column name is returning -1, what, when it is returning -1, what you want in the output? Negative profits. Profits. What is the next one? When it is returning a 0, what you want? Zero profits. And when it is returning, now you can directly go and write what? Else. It will return only 3 types of numbers: -1, 0, and 1. You can directly go and write what? Else. Else you can write positive profits. Positive profits. Close the bracket and run it, guys. Positive profits. Right, close the bracket and run it. Now go and check it here. Instead of -1 0 1, you can drag the column called description column. We derived a column with the name called what? Description. You can remove this so that they can see negative profits, how many count like this. Fine. Okay. So simple functions. We understand few mathematical functions. There are some cases where we might Commonly use the divide function, commonly use the rounding functions, rounding to up, down, we will use it. So then there are some functions called what? Aggregate functions, which we commonly used it, right? So one common interview question in every interview is, what is the difference between sum function and what? Sum x function. Let's try to understand what is the difference between sum function and sum x function. So I want to create a visual where I want to show what is the sum of salary we are paying for all the 15 employees. How many employees are there in the employee table now? 15 employees. All the 15 employees, how much salary we are paying, I need to show here. How to show all the 15 employees how much salary we are paying is, you need to create a measure. Select the employee table. So in employee table, we have one column called salary column. All the 15 employees, what is the salary we are paying, I need to show it. So one way to show that is implicit measures. Even though you can show with implicit measures, so when I drag it, how much salary we are paying for all the 15 employees? 39K. It's not recommended to go with implicit measures even when it's a basic aggregation. Recommended is go and create a explicit measure, use it. So I already said that what are the advantages of explicit measures is, explicit measures will work in all other softwares also. Explicit measures can be used in other measure creation. So generally, so Microsoft itself, they are asking to prefer to create the measures, explicit measures. How to create a measure now is, select the employee table, click on what? New measure. What is the measure name is sum of salary, sum of salary. So I can just take one sum function here. To the sum function, how many arguments you can pass? Column name, which column? Salary column. Close the bracket, run it. It will sum all the values in the salary column and it will give one result. Now when I go and take one visual, I can just go and drag the sum of salary. How much it is? 39K. Now my client is asking to show sum of total salary, guys. This is only sum of salary. Here all the 15 employees, salary and commission together, how much we are paying? Salary plus commission together, how much you are showing here only what? Salary. Now there are employees where we are even paying some commissions. Around 2000 commission you are paying. Around how much salaries you are paying? 39K. 39K plus 2K, how much total salary you are paying? 49K. That 49K they are expecting to see in the visual. How to show that 49K is? How to show that 49K is? In order to show 49K, first you need to derive one column where you need to derive total salary, guys. What you need to derive first? Total salary. And that total salary column you need to use with what? Sum function. We need to use with sum function. So first let me derive the total salary. For every row I need one value. First what you need to click on? New column. When I click on new column, what is the column name? Total sal. So in order to get the total sal, what? Salary plus commission. Salary plus commission. When I go and enter here, you'll get salary plus commission here. Now, just give me a second. Someone is calling repeatedly. You got the total salary. This total salary column you need to use in some function. Now, once after deriving the column, select the employee table, click on what? New measure, and take what? Sum of total salary. Total salary. To get sum of total salary, you can take the sum function. We can pass which column here? Total salary column. When I go and close this, when I run this, you'll get a measure. I can just go and take one card visual. In the card visual, I can go and drag this sum of total salary. How much it is? 41K. Now, what is the problem in this way is, you are deriving one total salary column just to create a measure called what? Sum of total salary. When you derive any column, it will occupy extra space in the power pivot. Yes or no? Yes. There are some times where we will derive some extra columns just to derive some measure value. That extra column we are not going to use in the visual row wise. There are some times. Just I'm deriving this only to get what? Sum of total salary. Total salary. So without deriving this column, if you can derive it, you will save the space. You will save a lot of space. There are sometimes in Power Pivot there will be a space constraint. When there is a space constraint, what is the best way to go with is, instead of deriving one extra column, instead of using that column in the sum function, what you can even do is There is another function with the name called what? Sum x. That sum x function does not require the extra column, this extra column. When you, without deriving this extra column, you can even derive sum of total salary. When you even derive the sum of total salary without deriving this column, what is the advantage is, what is the advantage? You will save the space. You'll save the space. Let's do that now. So same 41k, I want to show it without deriving this column. Go and derive, remove this sum of total salary measure first, and along with this go and remove the total salary. When I go and create an extra column, so it is occupying more space, I don't want to create it. So this time directly I can go to employee table, click on new measure. I'm not going to create a total salary column. I'm creating a measure. The measure name is sum of total salary. To get the sum of total salary, this time if you use sum function, to the sum function how many arguments you can pass? Only column name. Only column name. So here to the sum function, in only column name, either you can pass only salary. When you pass only salary, you'll get what? Sum of salary 39k you'll get. You'll not get 41k. So this time you are not supposed to use sum function. There is another function called what? Sum x. To the sum x function, how many arguments you can pass? Table name and expression. So which expression you need to add now? Salary plus commission is the expression. You can do salary plus commission in which table? You need to do that expression. EMP table. It will return the sum of an expression evaluated for each row in the table. First, it will evaluate the salary plus commission for each row. That result, it will do what? Sum. It will do sum. So in this way, you are not going to create any new table, new column, which will save your space in the PowerPoint. In which table you need to evaluate an expression? Employee table. What is the expression? Salary plus commission. For each row, it will do the salary plus commission intermediate. It will not store any space. Intermediately for every row, it will do salary plus commission, and it will do what? Sum. When I go and click on enter, the sum of total salary will give what result now? When I go and take one visual, when I go and take sum of total salary, what result it will give? 41k. So they will ask you what is the difference between sum function and sum x function is sum function you can pass only one column. Sum x function you can pass what? Expression. That expression results it can do sum. What is the advantage is you no need to create intermediate columns. Intermediate columns to perform some calculation. If sum x function is not there, you must and should need to go and create one intermediate column called what? Salary plus commission. In the same way, in a column, if you want a minimum value, which function will use? Minimum function. Let's say I want to compare the salaries and I want to get the minimum salary. What is the minimum salary here? 800. So there are some times where I need to get the minimum value from salary plus commission together. So I want to, there are some people who will take less salary but commission. Let's say in the commission you have 400 guys. So now what is the minimum salary is, it's not, so if it is only based on salary, it is 800. Let's take an example. Here 800 is there, right? Let me go and change the data. I'll change the data in the source file somewhere introduction. I'll just go and give some 400 guys here. I'm just typing 400 here. Now just tell me, when I want minimum value in one column, refresh it. When you enter some data, we can go and refresh. If you want the minimum value in the salary column, you can use the min function and you can pass the salary column. What is the minimum value in salary column? 800. So I want minimum of total salary. Once after salary plus commission, I want minimum value. Once after salary plus commission, what is the minimum value now? 950. That I want it. So one, to get the minimum of one column, click on what? Sorry, new measure. I want minimum from group of rows. I need one value. If you want minimum of one column, click on new measure. So I want minimum of salary column. Min salary column, minimum of salary. To get the minimum of salary, take the min function, and you can pass as a column called what? Salary column, and it will give what means the minimum of salary column is 800. It will give 800. Go and take one card visual and go and drag the minimum of salary, and it will give 800. Now I want minimum of total salary here. To get minimum of total salary, first you need to derive total salary column, and that you need to use it which in a function called what? Min function. Instead of deriving an extra column, what you can even do? Min-x function. I can just go and click on new measure. I want a minimum value from expression. I want minimum of total salary this time. Total salary. So this time I need to use which function? Minx. So you need to write table name. In which table you need to write the expression? Employee table. What is the expression? Salary plus commission. Once it do salary plus commission, it will give the minimum value in it. Now the minimum, when I do salary plus commission here, it will come how much here? 1200. When I do salary plus commission here, it will get how much? 950. Which one is minimum now? 950. Now when I go and take the visual, when I go and drag the minimum of total salary, it will give minimum of total salary 950. So like this you have, if you want a maximum of column, max function. If you want a maximum of some expression, max x. If you want to average of one column, average function. If you want average of an expression, let's say I want average of total salary. When you want average, if you want average of salary, that will be a different number. When you want average of total salary, that might be a different number. If you want average of total salary, you need to use which function? Average x, where you can pass the expression which will give same. How sum x function will work, average x function also will work in the same way. Average x count. If you want to count only the values in one column, count function. If you want to count the values in the expression, count x function. Now just see the count function. I have a commission column. I want to count the values in the commission. So let's see what result you'll get. I'm selecting the employee, click on new measure. I want to count the values in the commission. Count of commission I'm giving. Count of commission. When I go and click on count of commission, I'm using count function. I can pass which column here? Commission column, close the bracket and run it. Now just tell me guys, I'll go and take one visual here. In the visual, I'll go and drag what column here? Count of commission. How much it is giving? 5. So count of commission it is giving 5. What happens there? What happens guys? Count of commission it is giving 5. It is counting only values. It is ignoring what values there? Blank values. Remember one point. So all the statistical functions, all this aggregation functions will ignore the blank values. Will ignore what? Blank values. If there is any blank values in that column, it will ignore, and even when you are doing sum, it will ignore the blank values. Why it will ignore the blank values means, when you do any aggregation here, sum or average or min with the blank value, the output will get what? Blank. Output will get blank. That is the reason they will ignore it. So here, when it ignore, how many non-blank values are there? Only 5. That is the reason you are getting 5. So when I write count of employee number, how much you will get? 15. So all values are there, you will get the 15. So simple. So count function and count x function, we rarely used it, but even once after doing some expression, then if you want to count the values, you can count it. There is something called what? Distinct count. Let's say I want to understand how many jobs are there, how many different jobs are there. Totally 15 employees are there, but how many jobs are there? 6. So if you want to get the count of jobs, when I go and click on new measure, when I go and click on count of jobs, I can just use which function first is count function, and I can pass a job column. What is the result you will get? Count of jobs means 15 it will give. When I go and drag this visual, it will give 15 count of jobs. I don't want to count the jobs, I want to count only distinct jobs. So in order to count the distinct jobs, what is the function? Distinct count. In the DAX language, to count the distinct values, you need to just go with the distinct count here. So here, I want to get distinct count of jobs. Click on new measure. Distinct count of what we need is jobs. To get the distinct count of jobs, we can use a function called distinct count. And which column now? Job column. When I use this measure, what might be the result it will show? Just 6. Like this, in any column, if you want to count the distinct values, you can use a DAX function called what? Distinct count. There are some times where I need to count the blank values in a column. What is the function we can use? Count blank. I want to count how many blank values are there in this commission column. Totally 15 rows are there. Out of 15 rows, 5 rows have values. How many blank values are there? 10. I want to tell that number. How can we tell that number is? Click on new measure. Count blank values in the commission. You can give any measure name. Count blank in which column? Commission column. There is a function called count blank function. Which column you need to count the blank values? commission. To the count blank function also you can pass what? Column name. When I go and close this, it will tell the number of blank values you have in that column. There are some times where we need to know the blank values in the column. I can just go and drag count blank. How many blank values are there? 10. So there are some times where I need to count the number of rows in the table. I want to create one visual. In the visual, I need to show how many rows we have in the orders table. What I need to show here? How many number of rows we have in the orders table. To show the number of rows in the orders table, what is the DAX function you need to write is? What is the function name is? Count rows. We need to count the number of rows. Go and select the orders table and click on a new measure. I want rows in the count rows in which table? Orders table. To get the count rows in the orders table, there is a DAX function called what? Count rows function. To that count rows function, what you need to pass? Table name. Which table you need to count the rows now? Orders table. Click on enter. When I go and take one visual, when I go and drag this measure, count rows, how many rows it is telling? 994 rows. For some reason, if you want to count the rows, we can go with count rows function. Simple functions, not complicated, self-explanatory functions. But they'll ask you what is the difference between normal functions and what? X functions. Normal functions you can pass a column name. X functions you can pass the expression. Right. The next function is what function? Rank X function. It's a statistical function. There are some times where we need to rank the values. Let's take an example. My client is asking to create one visual. In the visual, client is asking to show employee name and salary. Employee name, and they're asking to show salary here. And based on the salary, they're asking to give the rank here. Based on the salary, they're asking to give the rank values. So which salary is highest salary here is Sunil. I want to give rank as what? 1. What is the second highest salary we have is King. I want to give the rank as what? 2. What is the least salary I have is 800. What is the rank I need to give? 15. How to rank the values here is, to rank the values, we need to use a function called what? Rank X. So I want to rank the values for every row in the employee table. For every row, I need one value. So for every row, when you need one value, you need to click on what? New column. So the function I am going to use is rank. Rank what columns is salary. So in order to rank the salaries, there is a function called rank X function, guys. What is the function name? Rank X. In the rank X function, there are a lot of arguments. First one is what? Table. Second one is what? Expression. Third one is value. Fourth one is order. Fifth one is style. How many arguments are mandatory? How many arguments are optional? 2 arguments are mandatory. Remaining 3 arguments are optional. So in which table you need to rank the values means employee table. Based on which column you need to rank the values means salary. Simple, guys. 2 mandatory arguments is in which table you need to rank the values. Based on which column you need to rank the values. Currently I need to rank the values based on what? Salary. As these are optional arguments, we can even ignore it. When you even ignore it, it will take default. I'll discuss that 3. I'll discuss. It will take default. So for now, let us take default. Press enter. Now it will give the ranks, guys. For which one it is giving rank 1? 10,000. For one, which one it is giving rank 2? 5,000 salary. 5,000 salary. Now what you can do is you can just go and drag rank based on the salary. When I go and drag rank based on the salary, you will get the ranks up. But what we observed is, to understand this data in a much better way, let me sort the data either in ascending order or descending order. When I go and sort the data in the ascending order or descending order, so look at here, for highest rank, it is giving the first salary, second, 3, 3. What is the next rank it is giving? Why it is giving 3 for 2 times? Same salary. So next what it is giving? 5. So 3, 3 it given, what it is missing? 4, then it is giving what? 5. There are sometimes 3 members will take the same salary. Then 3 will be get for how many times? 3 times. What is the next number you will get? 6. We call this as skipping, guys. Skipping the ranks. Instead of skipping the ranks, there is a other concept called dense rank. What is that? Dense rank. Dense rank means no need to skip the ranks. So even when you are getting 3, 3, next rank I need to give what? 4. That we call it as what? Dense rank. So by default, Power BI will skip the ranks. By default, rank X function will do what? Skip the ranks. So if you want dense rank, this time my client is asking to show dense rank. Click on new column. So rank based on dense rank based on salary column. Dense rank means I don't want to skip the ranks. For that, again, the function you need to use is rank x function. In the rank x function, what is the first argument means? Table. In which table you need to rank the values? Employee table. Based on which column? Salary column. This time, there are optional arguments like value, order, and ties. So I want to go with the ties, guys. In the ties, you can pass two things. One is skip, second one is dense. What are the two values you can pass in the ties? One is skip, second one is what? Dense. When you don't pass anything, by default, it will take what means? Skip. Skip means it will skip the rankings. Now, I don't want skip here. I want which rank? Dense rank. That means I need to pass which argument now? Ties. So in order to pass ties argument, there is two more arguments called what? Value, order. Value and order are optional arguments. One advantage you have with optional arguments, you can keep empty comma. When you keep empty comma, it will take default value. It will take what value? Default value. When I go and keep empty comma here, value will take default. When I keep one more empty comma there, order will take default. Now you are passing the argument for what now? Ties. So by default, in the ties, it will take what? Skip. Skip means it will skip the rankings. Now client is not interested to skip the rankings. You need to pass what? Dense. I'll discuss remaining two also for now. So first we are going to discuss about dense rank. Now close the bracket. Run it. So what we understand here is any optional arguments you can keep empty comma and you can go and give the last argument. When you keep empty comma, what it will take? Default value. There will be some default values it will take. You don't bother about it. I'll discuss. When you go to dense rank, what happens here? When I go and drag dense rank here, it also given 1, 2, 3, 3. Then what? 4. Here it skip the rank. Here it is not skipping the rank. So they will ask you how to get the dense rank. To get the dense rank, so in ties, there is last argument called ties where you need to pass what? Dense. There are some times where we need to give the rankings based on the small number. Now you are giving the ranking first rank to which number? Big number. So there is some running race. In the running race, some students are getting in 10 seconds, some students are getting in 11 seconds. You need to rank the people based on what? Small number to big number. How to rank the values based on small number to big number is, so let's say take the salary column itself. A small salary I need to give the first rank. So highest salary I need to give the last rank. How can you do that is, so there is one more argument called order. So click on this time, click on new column again. I need to rank the values this time, rank salaries in ascending order. Which order? By default, it rank the values in which order? Descending. Descending means highest number to least number. This time I need to rank the values based on which order? Ascending. So here also you'll use which function? Rank x. So you need to rank the values in which table? Employee table. You need to rank the values based on which column? Salary column. But value argument is optional argument. I don't want to pass anything now. What you can keep? Empty comma. Empty comma to take the default value. Now what you need to pass? Order. So order is also optional argument. By default it will take what? Descending. Instead of descending, what you want? Ascending. So the next argument is optional. You can even ignore it. Even you can ignore it. Close this. Now it will rank the values in which order means? Ascending order. Go here. So rank the salaries based on ascending order. Now you can see the least salary first rank, highest salary what? Last rank. And one more thing is, here also it is skipping the ranks. 4, 4, then what? 6. If you want a continuous ranking, again what? Then so you can even go and pass here. One more argument here. What? By default it will take what? Skip. Instead of skip you need to pass what? Dense. When you pass the dense, now if you see here 4, 4 you are getting, then immediately you are getting what? 5. It will not skip. So fine. In the rank x function, we understand few arguments, guys. We clearly understand first argument. What? In the table where we need to rank the values based on which column. We understand order. By default, order is what? Descending. If you want to rank in ascending order, you want to pass this to ascending. In the tiles, you can pass two. One is what? Skip. By default, it is skip. So second one is what? Dense. If you don't want to skip the rankings, you need to go and pass what here? Then so next one you have is what? Value. So I want to understand there is a salary called 5,000. That 5,000 salary, which rank it is? So 5,000 salary, which rank it is? Second rank. I want to create one visual. So where I need to show my requirement is in this visual, I need to show 5,000 salaries which rank? 5,000 salaries which rank? Second rank. 10,000 salaries which rank? First rank. I want to know the salary value 5,000 is which rank? Then you need to use a function called what? Value function. Look at here. I want to understand in the employee table, I want to create a measure. In the employee table, 5,000 is there. Salary 5,000. What is the rank I need to get? Salary 5,000 is there. What it rank? So in order to get it, we can use a function called rank x function. You are planning to rank the values in which table? Employee table based on which column? Salary column. You are trying to get the rank for which value? 5,000 salary. For 5,000 salary, what is the rank you are planning to get it? When I click on enter, now I can go and take one card visual here. Into the card visual, you can drag this salary 5,000 rank. Which rank it is? Second rank. When I go and change here, instead of 5,000, 10,000, what is the rank for 10,000? First rank. It will show them first rank. Fine, guys. For some reasons, if you want to find out the rank of one particular number, in the value you can pass that number and you can get the rank out of it. Very rarely we might use it. Right. So this is what function? Rank x function. Now you are ranking the values for every row. There are some times we need to rank the values for group of rows. Let's take an example. I have a visual where I am showing subcategory wise sum of sales. Orders table. Let me create one measure here with the name sum of sales. Select the orders table, click on new measure. I want to create a measure with the name sum of sales, guys. Sum of sales. Sum of sales. To get the sum of sales, what is the DAX function? Sum function, you need to pass which column here? Sales column. I want to show subcategory wise sum of sales in the visual. How to show subcategory wise sum of sales in the visual is go and drag the subcategory column. Go and drag the column called what? A measure called what? Sum of sales. I want to rank the subcategories where we have more sales first rank, where we have less sales least rank. Which one is having highest sales is phones is the one which is having highest sales. I need to give which rank? First rank. What is the next to highest number? Chairs. Chairs I need to give what? Second rank. This time, not in the table for every row I need to rank the values. In the orders table, I don't want to rank the values for every row. For every row, when you need to rank the values, what you derived here? Columns. You derived what? Columns. Now, not for every individual row. Now, for aggregated results, you need to derive the ranks. This time, you need to create a measure, guys. Select the orders table. You need to create what? Measure. You need to rank based on the sum of sales. Rank based on what? Sum of sales. If you want to rank it, again you need to use a function called what function here? Rank x function. So this time when I go and rank orders table name, I want to rank the values based on which measure? Sum of sales. Remaining arguments are optional. When I close this, when I drag this, just it will give the wrong result, guys. For every row, it will give the rank as what means what it is giving? One. So generally, when you create any measure, that measure will work on filter context. It will filter the binder sum of sales. It will give the rank. Binder, how many sales value you have is only one sales value. When you give the rank, only one you will get. Bookcases, only one sales value you will get one. So when you create any measure, by default, measure will work on filter context. Measure will work on which context? Filter context. When it is working on filter context, it will show one value, one rank. So I need to consider all the subcategories. For all the subcategories, I need to consider the sum of sales, and then I need to give what? Rank. I don't want to rank for every filter condition. Copiers, one value, one rank. Missions, one value, one rank. My requirement is I need to take all the subcategories and their sales. Which one is bigger and which one is small? I need to give the rankings. So here, a simple change in the formula you need to do is instead of passing the table name, you need to use a function called what? All function will ignore the filter context. I need to ignore the filter context for which column now? Subcategory column. Take the subcategory column and give what here? You need to rank all the subcategories based on what? Sum of sales. When I close this, now you'll get the proper rankings. You just need to go with all and you need to pass it. You are getting which one first rank here? Phones. Which one second rank? Chairs. When I just go on the direct, instead of using all function, when I just write orders table here, what it is doing is it is working based on the filter context. To ignore the filter context, to consider all the subcategories, you need to use a function called what? All. Which column? Subcategory. Take all the subcategories and their sales, and based on that, you need to do what? Ranking is. So there are some times where you need to rank the values based on aggregated results. That time you need to create a measure, right? That is rank x function. We can rank for each individual value in the table, or for a measure we can even give the rank. Next one is what? Table manipulation function. One table manipulation function you have is summarize, guys. What the summarize function will do is, sometimes you'll have a table with millions of records of data. Let's say orders table is having 100 million records. When you go and create any visuals on 100 million records, when you share that visual with the client, every time when client open the visual, it will collect the 100 million records, it will aggregate the data, it will show the data in the visual. Sometimes it will take a lot of time to see the results in the visual. Why it will take a lot of time to see the results in the visual is, backend table will have more rows. On the more rows, when you perform aggregate calculations to show the result, it will take time. Take an example. I'm creating one visual using a table called orders table. When you are creating a visual with the orders table, just imagine when the orders table is having 100 million records. Using the 100 million records, when I try to show region wise sales, what Power BI will do is, first it will collect the 100 million records, it will aggregate the data based on region, and it will do the sum of sales. Aggregating 100 million records and showing the results will take couple of seconds. So when I go and take one visual, when I drag the region column here, when I drag the sum of sales column, might be it is giving results quickly here. Why it is giving the results quickly means, this table contains how many rows now? Just 9994. Aggregating the 9994 row data, it is showing quickly. But just imagine, in the place of 9994 rows, if you have 100 million records, obviously to aggregate the data might take time. Take time. Even when you save the report, publish the report, when you share the report, every time when you're trying to open the report, it will go to the backend table, it will collect the 100 million records. That 100 million records will aggregate and show the result. Sometimes when you have a lot of visuals here, when you are performing aggregate calculations on more number of rows, showing the result in the visuals will take time. It might even take 30 seconds also. Client want to wait for 30 seconds, or even he want to wait for 60 seconds. Let's say a lot of visuals are there, lot of visuals are taking the data and aggregating the data and showing the data. Lot of visuals to aggregate 100 million records, obviously it will take time. How can you improve the performances? Before you create this same visual, you can aggregate the data, pre-aggregate the data. Now when you create the visual, at runtime it will aggregate the data. Before that, you can create aggregated tables, and you can use the aggregated tables for creating the visuals. How can we create the aggregated tables is using a function called what? Summarize. In the power pivot, using summarize, you can create aggregated table. Look at here. Instead of creating this visual in the orders table, the same result I can show on top of aggregated table also. Let me show you how to create aggregated table. Is go to the data pane, go to the table tools. In order to create the table, click on what? New table. I want to create the table, aggregated table, based on region wise sales. Based on what? Region wise sales. Based on region wise sales. So here what you need to use is, there is a function called summarize function. Which function? Summarize function will help you to create an aggregated table. So you need to aggregate the data in which table? Orders table. Orders table. We need to aggregate the data based on which column? Group by. So we need to aggregate the data based on which column? Region. So by aggregating the region column, what aggregated result you want? Sum of sales. So column name, this is just a column name. To get that sum of sales, what is the DAX expression? Sum function. And which column? Sales column. Just simple. I'll discuss one more time. So now this summarize function created one new table. What is the table name? Region by sales. How many records you have? Just 4 records. So now instead of going and creating this visual on 100 million records, same result I can show. I can take table visual. I can just go to a table called, which table here? Region sales. I'll drag region. I'll drag the sum of sales. So what it will show? Just same results or not? Same results. So this number and this number is, this visual is creating currently on 9994 rows. Generally, let's take it as 100 million rows. But this visual is creating on how many rows? 4 rows. When you share both the visuals with your client, which visual will load the data quickly? This visual will load the data within fraction of seconds. But this visual will take the data time. So in order to, there are some times where you will have a tables with huge number of records. Instead of using the tables in the visuals, prior you can create tables like what? Aggregated tables. That aggregated tables you will create, use for creating what? Visuals. What is the advantage means? Performance will increase. So here let me show you the syntax. To create aggregated table, which function? Summarize. In the interview they'll ask you what is summarize function. Summarize function will create aggregated table. First, somehow it's not working, just click on enter guys. Let's rewrite it again. So you want region wise cells, which function we are planning to take? Summarize. First argument is what? In which table you need to summarize the data? Which table? Orders table. Orders table data I need to summarize. You need to summarize the data based on which column? Region. Region. Group by column. So you need to summarize the data based on region. What aggregated result you want? Sum of sales. To get the sum of sales, what is the DAX expression? What is the DAX expression? Sum and sales column. Close this. So you not only can aggregate the data based on one column, you can even create the aggregated table based on multiple columns also. Let's look at here. I'll create another table here. Click on new table. And this table name is region wise, category wise sales. Region, category, sales. Based on how many columns I'm planning to aggregate the data this time? Region and category. How to aggregate the data is which function? Summarize. So which table data we are planning to summarize? Orders. So you need to group by based on which column? Group by first based on what? Region. Second, you can write group by column 2. What is this now? Group by column 2. Another group by column is what? Category. Here, once you do that, you can give the name of the column. What is the aggregated result you are expecting? Sum of sales. It is just the name of the column. To get that result, what is the aggregate function? Sum. And which column? Sales. This time, how many columns you will get in the output when I run this? You'll get a table with how many columns? Region, category, sales. How many columns you'll get? 3 columns. When I run this formula, you'll get a table with the name region wise, category wise, sales. You not only can have one aggregated result, you can even have multiple aggregated results here. So I just given one aggregated result, right? Instead of one aggregated result, I can even have multiple aggregated results. So what is the next one you have? Second aggregated result column name. Then what? Expression. So let's say second aggregated results I want is sum of profit. What is that? Sum of profit. To get the sum of profit, what you need to write? DAX formula. What function? Sum. Which column? Profit. So I not only want sum of profit, I want count of orders also. To get count of orders, column name. You need to write the column name in what? Double quotes. Count of orders. To get count of orders, what is the DAX expression? Expression 3 now. What is the DAX expression? Count. Which column? Order ID column. Count of order ID. Close the bracket. Run the formula. This time, how many columns you will get in the output? Region, category, sales, profit, count. Whenever we need to show sales and profit, better to show from which table? This table. So which contains less rows. Whenever you create the visuals on less number of rows, that will give the better performance. Aggregated tables will give less number of rows. Less number of rows. So like this, we can create the aggregated tables using summarize function. For some reasons, in the visuals, you need to show aggregated data. Backend tables have huge volumes of data. Don't try to create the visuals on huge volumes of data. On that tables, create the aggregated tables. When the data is changing in this table, even the data will change in which table? Aggregated table. When new records is coming into the orders table, automatically that new records will go to which table? Aggregated table. That result will show in where? Visuals. Right. The next one is which function? Top and function. Top and function also, this three functions will create tables only. Summarize function is creating what? Table. Top and function also will create what? Table. My requirement is I need to show top 5 employees in a different table where they are taking more salaries. I need to show top 5 employees in a separate table where they are taking the more salaries. In order to create a new table, we need to go with a option called what? New table. New table. So I want to show in this table only top 5 employees based on their salaries. Top 5 employees based on what? Salary. This is the table name. So to get that, you need to use a function called what function? Top n. So top n function, what is the first argument? How many employees you want? How many employees you want? 5. So second one is what? From which table? Which table? Employee table. Based on what? Salary. Based on what column? Salary. Based on salary. In which order? Descending order. Which order? Descending order. You just go and give the descending order, close the bracket, enter guys. It will show how many employees now? Only 5 employees. Sunil, first highest salary. King, second highest salary. Ford and Scott, and then Jones. So top and function will give a table here again. So same way, already I discussed about value function. When I discussed about values function is when I discussed about concatenate x. I discussed about concatenate x function. Even values function, what it will do is while discussing text functions, while discussing concatenate x function, we discussed about values. Values function, you can pass one column name as an argument. In that column, it will show distinct values. Let's take an example. I need to create one table here. In that table, I need to have only distinct states which are there in the orders table. Currently, orders table have how many rows? 994 rows. But 994 rows have how many distinct states? 49 states. I need to create one new table here. In the new table, I need to see distinct states only. That means I need to see only one column with 49 states. How to create a distinct table, a table with distinct states is go to table tools, click on what? New table. So this table name is what? State table. State. So I want to see only distinct states. Which function? Values. To the values function, you can pass either a table name or column name. So when you pass when a column name is given, it will return a single column table of what? Unique values. When a table name is given, returns a table with same columns. You will get same results. Generally, table is not useful here. Which one? Column name. Which column we are planning to pass? State column. State column from the orders table. When I pass it, you'll get a table with only one column. What is the column name? State. How many rows you have here? Only 49 rows. Distinct states you will have it. Like this, there are sometimes this values function separately we might not use it. So this value function we used with a function called what? Concatenate x function. So there are some times where you need to take distinct values. On distinct values, you need to perform what? Calculations. Then you need to use a function called what? Values. This three will give the tables only. This function summarize will give you aggregated table. Top n will give a table with top values. Values will give a table with distinct values in the column. Fine, guys. We'll stop it. Tomorrow, we'll talk about one of the important category of functions called time intelligence functions, guys. So far, we discussed about different categories of functions like text functions, logical functions, date and time functions, filter functions, relationship functions, mathematical and some aggregate functions. And tomorrow we'll discuss about what? Time intelligence functions. So last category of functions and important category of functions. Let us stop here. We'll go with some questions now.